Let us clap.
Let's clap.
Let us pray.
Do you know
3, 2,
clasp their hand together?
The Lord.
The Lord in prayer.
Jen moving her chair back, switching her chair around.
Moving both my chair around and my baseball cap at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Weirdly, I could see in like a hilariously mismatched kind of way. I could see Craig being like a youth pastor in like a Saturday Night Live kind of way. I can't picture that at all.
No, not really.
Like not even in like a comedy of errors way.
No, see, I naturally button the top button on a collared shirt, so I'm an easy slide into that position.
Yeah.
Craig is like today, kids, we're going to talk about heresy.
Just like all the sins, all the mortal ones, in vivid detail.
Let's start right at the beginning with Genesis.
Let me rap with you guys about gluttony.
And how they might be fun, actually, while you're doing them.
Craig says, kids, why would God have made the sins if they weren't supposed to be done in excess?
Exactly. Aren't they delectable? Isn't the taste of them worth the punishment later?
Which of you kids want to live deliciously?
Wouldn't you like a feastable? Wouldn't you like a Minecraft branded T-shirt?
You're like, listen, kids, hell is a long time away, okay? And greed is now. So jot that down.
Here's the thing. He died for your sins anyway.
Yeah,
just do them.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Unkill the Lord? I don't think so.
No, you see, he sacrificed himself so you could smoke this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get you installed immediately. I think you could do a lot of good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello there, divas and dweebs. I am still here on the red carpet, where I may remain for all eternity. I am your fully diamond-encrusted co-host, Josh McKenzie, and standing next to me today, right on the red carpet here, dressed exclusively in pelts. Not fur, but pelts. Craig Neeson, if you were to star in the obligatory annual music biopic, who would you be?
First, just to clarify for anyone angry, I did kill all these animals with my bare hands. They suffered tremendously before they died.
Yeah, the tweets are coming in.
Yeah. Catch me if you can. I would be Darby Crash from The Germs. I would be really racist, and then I would die immediately.
Do you know what's crazy? Is I have no idea what Craig is gonna say. Like he's gonna say the Mars Volta, and yet you found a brave new answer. But I could actually see you doing like a Darby Crash impression.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. I am a fucked up guy, and then I fucking OD on heroin. Like that's the Darby Crash story.
Yeah. More swastikas than you thought possible will be on the walls around you when you're having your confessional.
I don't know why my brain went straight to Skrillex for you.
Oh, you could do Skrillex.
See, well,
just the worst wig of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't correctly put the wig cap on Craig's regular hair, so it's sticking out more than it should, and so it's a side shave that goes up.
I want to play the pivotal moment where he's about to walk on stage at the fucking Warped Tour, but instead it is in some kind of divine accident he trips over a drum machine. He or whacks his head on a fucking 808. It's just something just farcical and he has a dream of instead of performing to 14-year-old girls, he's collaborating with such such heavyweights as Justin Bieber grown up.
Those are two incredible answers for you. And to my other side here, with hair 2 stories tall, Jennifer Hawking. Jennifer, given the chance, which video game would you share with which SwimFans All-Star? To be clear, I mean not a dove, like a SwimFans All-Star.
Oh, I would play through Metal Gear with Sharon Stone, obviously.
I feel like she would smoke you up too. Like you guys would be stoned as hell playing Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, she's doing all the line reads for Sniper Wolf.
Oh my god, she and I have like my audio recorder, and I'm having her do all of the Sniper Wolf lines so I can edit them in like a ROM hacker later. Like, yeah, that would be so much fun and a tremendous amount of work.
Worth it for Sharon. This is your back half of the 2025 Oscar nominee coverage. When you're referring to the Oscars, okay, because they're happening in 2026, but all the movies are 2025. This is I guess you would say the 2026 Oscars.
Yeah,
yes.
I've also been confused about that, but I'll agree with 2026. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. It's the 2026 Oscars. The ceremony is in 2026. That was always my understanding of it.
That's great. I've been wrestling with that. Again, sort of like one wrestles with the concept of heresy. I've been trying to figure out exactly when the Oscars are. So this is your 2026 Oscars coverage. This is the back half of the list. So today for you, we have One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. We have The Secret Agent by Clever Mendoza Filo. We have Sentimental Value by Joachim Trier, Sinners by Ryan Coogler, and lastly, Train Dreams by Clint Bentley.
Just do it.
Once more, spoilers all the way down.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen those movies and you want to do that and come back, Craig in the Skrillex wig will be waiting for you at your leisure.
If you see me 2 more times,
If I drop the bass 2 more times.
If I bang-a-rang 2 more times. Okay, so first up we have Anderson's One Battle After Another. So this stars Leonardo DiCaprio. This is the story about a pair of like mid-century style leftist revolutionaries. They get together while doing revolutionary actions, and they have a daughter. The mother in the situation, Perfidia Beverly Hills, sells out her her cell of what's the word? Freedom fighters here. She sells them out. And so a lot of people get put in jail or they get killed. So since this has happened, Leo's character has been like on high alert. He's trained their daughter with all sorts of like safety contingencies, all those kinds of things. So she didn't live like a normal life as a kid. And now all of those things have come to pass. The government is cracking down on these guys. So Leo, who's been out of the revolutionary game for several decades, is trying to do like these sort of like 1970s style tactics. His daughter gets spirited away. He is trying to find her. And so the journey is them reuniting amidst like all of these like paramilitary American government goons. They're assisted by various leftists, freedom fighters. And it is a tale of father and daughter reuniting amidst the political strife of the United States. What do we think?
I loved it. I thought it was a perfect balance of the whimsy of Licorice Pizza with the great character work that P.T. Anderson is known for. I really liked Leo in it. I think he's perfect as like this fuck up dad. Can't really remember like the security codes, and he kind of like blunders through the back half of the movie like an oaf. The scene where he's high on the couch and getting the phone call that he has to do something like super important is so real. That not anything this severe, but that did kind of happen to me one time. And I thought it captured the sense of panic really well. I think like the supporting cast is so much fun. Like Sean Penn is great. I don't know who plays the daughter, but I thought she was amazing. If I had some kind of criticism for it, I would say that I think it takes maybe a little too long to get going. It's like entertaining the whole time, but like I'm sure some of this friction would just completely dissipate on a second watch. But like I was really like, what are we doing? I don't kind of get what this movie is until about an hour in. Then it kind of like reveals more of itself. It wasn't like that big of a deal. It didn't like ruin my enjoyment. It is still like an entertaining sequence, but I did have like this prolonged confusion about like what exactly was I supposed to be doing watching it. You know, like, what was I really supposed to be like latching onto? But then once it got going, I thought it was like amazing. It's like one of my favorite movies of last year.
Yeah, I also really loved this. Okay, again, we have the liberals and conservatives talking movies. That's sort of the theme for the year. So this is the other one. I think this is really good. Like, it left a really strong impression. You know, what I do enjoy about the movie is that it shows these various shades of like leftism in the United States from like the mid-century until now. And I think the movie is reasonably acute with like making fun of sort of the various like fallacies that like leftists in the United States can get into, right? Like over the phone, Leo's trying to get like his password, and the guy like is like libbing out too hard, like he's LARPing too much, and he won't tell him like the password, even though like he can like prove who he is. So you've got like this sort of like the overly rigorous scold type guy. Yeah, you have Leo, this former revolutionary who just now, just absolutely blundering, completely out of step with like the times, that kind of thing. And then you have like Benicio del Toro's character who's doing like this sort of collective action, this real like boots on the ground, taking care of the community despite the increasing militarization of like the police. And the government in the United States. And then, you know, with that, you also have these various shades of making fun of the right wing in this country. You have like the old guys who are doing like Yellow King Carcosa stuff. Like they want to like ascend to godhood in some like pervert's basement. And Sean Penn, in order to join them, you know, obviously wants to erase any evidence that Leo's daughter might be actually his daughter. So, he can't be seen having a daughter who's non-white, so he has to kill her and everyone that she knows. So I think the movie's reasonably acute at sort of lampooning these various sides. And, you know, I think that's fun. I think... we struggled a little bit with Begonia because, you know, maybe Yorgos didn't have like the most like acute view of American politics. This does feel a little more on for me. I think it finds the comedy in a way a little bit better. I think all the actors are amazing. Teyana Taylor, who plays Perfidia, is like just electric on screen. Like the first time that she shows up, I mean, I wish she was in the whole movie, really. I don't know how, but like I wish she was in the whole movie. All of the supporting cast was like amazing. The problem with Paul Thomas Anderson is that he's just had like so many masterpieces that even a movie as good as One Battle After Another, I think, doesn't really make like the top 5.
No, probably not.
Which is, it means you make a lot of good movies, but like I do think it even compared to something like There Will Be Blood, it doesn't quite like distill America into like a 2-hour, 3-hour runtime as that does. But yeah, this was also one of my favorites in the last year.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I mean, this was, a first week watch, running out to the theaters to go see it. And I had a really mixed impression of it when I saw it. Everything that's been said is like so true. The character, the writing is, from a writing point of view, it's fantastic. The acting is superb. I think he got really amazing performances out of these people. Sean Penn has never been more jacked and more pathetic in his life. I I think it's expertly cast. I think, you know, the moment where Jungle Pussy is robbing the bank is incredible. But
Iconic.
the movie is like is very quick to like undercut what I think it's aware of, like the dead presidents thing that it's doing, and immediately that's when things go awry, right? You hear the gunshot off screen, and that's where things start getting all fucked up. Yeah, I mean, to me, it is kind of. I think the joke was like, what did Paul Thomas Anderson know, and when did he know it? I mean, the movie does feel really prescient. Yeah, I mean, the first act that we see them doing is liberating what is essentially an ICE detention camp, and you know, it's thrilling, it's exciting. And Leo, even in back in the day, him being the explosives guy, and then being like a storied legend for being an explosives guy, is so wonderful, you know, in that time skip, because he becomes what I feel like a leftist would become, is like the you know, this stoner guy, this kind of like loser stoner guy, and everyone around him is kind of on it. The contrast, one of the like things that I find effective, the contrast between Leo and Benicio del Toro, like their relationship in that like pocket of like 20 or 25 minutes of the film is so fucking good. It really, like, again, it's such a well crafted, like a character driven film that I mean, I don't know, I think my apprehensions about like the thing have kind of fallen away. Yeah, I mean, I like the Christmas Christmas Avengers, is that what, or Christmas, the Christmas what are they fucking called? What's the cabal of Illuminati white people called?
Oh, yeah. I was like, it has something to do with Santa Claus, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, why am I thinking of
Christmas
Santa
something?
Claus?
Sorry, my producer's telling me it's the Christmas Adventurers. But that's so like it's such a corny joke, but it is really perfect. I mean, it's perfect for you know, this like this Sean Penn character who's all like, you know, jacked and brutal and cruel, and, you know, in so many ways is like, you know, completely analogous in many ways to like Hegseth or like Bovino, or like, you know, in this way, like Gnome, like these people that are just like absolutely empty, stupid, driven like only by like some kind of like misfiring libido, and like just like bent on a cruelty that's as evil as it is stupid. I mean, the Christmas Adventures, it's a really nice way of you know, putting into the film the fact of America, like the fact of like the white supremacist cabal that either formally or informally, as an organization, whether or not you wanna believe that, you know, they actually do convene in someone's fucking basement, and there's like a one in, one out, eyes wide shut fucking, like, you know, scenario. You know, it's the powerful men that are like absolutely like the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's funny, and it's also frightening. I mean, it's frightening in its clarity. I mean, I was left feeling like heartened by the relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio and his daughter, but also just like generally like left frightened about just like the state of this country, which I think is not a bad place to leave it, actually. I think this movie,
because it's true,
right? I mean, I think this movie lands on like it's enough, or it's like what you love is like the most important thing, while the horrors continue. But yeah, I don't know. I think it like we said, it's a beautifully made film, and I think P.T. Anderson time and time again proves himself to be, just like an unbelievable talent. But yeah, I don't know. I also felt like a lot of this film was listless until it started to crystallize. But that's not bad. Listlessness isn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, overall, I'm really positive about the film. I think it's a case of like the realities of like being alive in America are really getting like circuit jammed with the content of the film, if that makes any sense. Like I have difficulty. I can't like step back and be like, the film, without it being like bound up in what what I'm seeing in the rectangle of my phone every day.
Because you can. I think the movie's in this interesting place where it's trying to exaggerate for cinematic effect, like the Christmas Club or whatever. Like they, like it on like its face, like it's crazy that like a bunch of like old rich guys whose like neurons have like almost ceased firing, are like trying to like live forever in Valhalla or whatever. And it's like, that's silly. And then like you see the article about how like, we want to bring around about the book of Revelations, and that's why we're doing war in Iran tomorrow. And it's like, yeah. like it's like you really can't, and it's this sort of thing where like you really can't exaggerate enough anymore. It's distressing. You can't do hyperbole anymore.
Yeah, everything's actually stupider than any fictionalized version could be.
Right.
Yeah. This is gonna sound really ridiculous, but the thing about the Christmas Adventurers is that it's a joke, and it's a nod to, I'm gonna call it for a moment, the idea that America is a white supremacist project fundamentally. But like there's something in the thing that's ridiculous is that like as I get older, I'm more and more convinced of that fact. Like I think I was aware of it ambiently, right? Like when I was young, and as I get older, I'm like, oh shit, and then increasingly I'm like, oh shit, like
yeah,
it's real, it's not it's baked into the pie. Oh shit. And like
in fact it is, it is the pie.
It is all this is actually the system working as designed.
And like it's frightening. At the same time that I think it's a really effectively deployed joke. I mean this to the credit of the film. At the same time that it's an effectively deployed joke, it's also harrowing. Because what is their concern as it pertains to the Sean Penn character is this idea of miscegenation, and it's like, right. Like as an adult, like I actually like these motherfuckers, these Deuce Volt fucking Crusades tattoo having motherfuckers. I think they probably do care about miscegenation, and that's like fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. So like in that way of like in the deployment of a joke like that, in the construction of these these like wretched stupid men of power meeting in a basement, who are like somehow like imposing and also like completely debased and pathetic and laughable.
Like actively decomposing. That one guy is like mid-stroke.
Yeah. I mean, there's the ones that are like ancient octogenarians, and then there's the ones that like look like they're the governor of fucking Kentucky. Or wait, isn't
Yeah.
Kentucky? Isn't what am I thinking? Who sucks? Oh, Alabama's got the one of the Huckabee buds. One of the
Yeah.
Huckabee spores.
Who sucks? How long do you have?
It's just, yeah, I don't know. The the broader project of America being like rendered and distilled into this little like coven of fucked up white guys is really something. Yeah, again, and that's just a testament to the writing and how like I feel like none of the writing, because I mean this movie does touch through a lot, and we're following Sean Penn's journey to do evil, Leonardo's journey to do a lot but actually accomplish very little. The daughter's journey to fucking try to stay alive. Even the indigenous guy who that's actually one of my favorite small characters is the indigenous guy who's getting harassed by the Blackwater dudes. They're like,
Oh yeah.
they're like, calling him, they're doing slurs, and they're like, you had too much of that fire water, this like disgusting. And then that's in the thing of the deployment of like cathartic violence, like that. It's a beautiful shot. We're seeing like this like merc guy, and he's like facing the camera as like the indigenous man decides to free Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter. Like he can't. He's had a change of heart, right? These paramilitary contractor motherfuckers have like done like 3 different slurs to him while he's like in the fulfillment of his job to like render this girl for sacrifice, and he's like, you know what? No. You know what? Actually not. I have a shotgun. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, the action moments I think are handled really well. The violence is handled in a way that's cathartic, and yeah. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. I'm gonna round it out with I think one of the things that leaves me like I love when Jungle Pussy robs the bank. I think, and it's been memed on, and I think the movie's aware that it would be a kind of like really like a takeaway type moment, especially in casting Jungle Pussy specifically. Like it feels like it was very much, it feels deliberate. But like this idea that I had, this like epiphany. I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to see it on a screen, and I want it to happen in real life.
Sure.
Yeah.
My final thought on this movie is that it looks gorgeous. I don't know if they shot it with like vintage lenses or something, but it has like a great kind of like muted color palette. I think they shot it in VistaVision. Great work. All the sets like look lived in. I don't know. I just think it looks amazing.
Yeah. My last thought is, I don't know. It's so difficult to, I mean, like we talked about, try to parody, satirize American politics. It's so outrageous, just on its face. And this movie still manages to have a sense of humor despite, I don't know, very like real world, very serious topics that the movie also, I feel like, doesn't shy away from. But yeah, it manages to keep a sense of humor about it as well. Pretty great.
Yeah, it keeps it all pretty relatable.
Mm-hmm.
It's really smart.
Yeah, I think like keeping it focused on like the relationship between father and daughter, yeah, I think really does something to keep it like human at the same time that it's going so zany with it.
Yeah, it's like, what if all the stuff you see on your phone was like directly in front of you, Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next up, speaking of movies that are about politics, this is The Secret Agent, again directed by Philo here. This takes place in Brazil in the 70s. I think it's the same military dictatorship, maybe even the same year that is I'm Still Here from last year. But this one is fictional. And it is about a professor who has been exiled from his place at the university during like the military dictatorship in the 70s in Brazil. And so he is essentially on the run. He ends up getting housed by like communist sympathizers. So he's with other, I guess refugees in a town in Brazil, and he's trying to get him and his son out of the country. But like one of like the elite business perverts that he had pissed off has put a hit out on him. So a couple hitmen are trying to find him, we find out he does not make it out. He is killed, and we learn all this because a lot of the history of the movie, or a lot of the history of the story, is being reviewed by academics in the present day, trying to piece together this, the truth of what happened. I thought this was tremendous. This is the last movie of the 10 that I watched. Real like buzzer beater in terms of like being one of my absolute favorites from this roster. I really liked the form of this movie. I was excited right away when the movie gave us just like a little taste of it also happening in the present day, when you get like just that quick scene of the two women who are like working at the university at the archive. And then so to watch as that develops, and then to finally, and I mean, I really think it peaks at the scene where Armando, the professor, is talking to sort of his contact who's getting him the passports to get out of the country. And you're watching what's happening in real time. And then you're also watching the perception of what is happening based on the archival records, like 45 years later. And I thought that was like really like filmically interesting. I thought that was really exciting. I loved the sort of themes of this movie, that like these sort of like blank spaces in history, whether that's our personal history or our political history or like our like cosmic history, these gaps in our understanding and our knowledge, things that aren't archived, aren't recorded, are like just as or even more important than what is recorded, and like you can't even feel their absence, right? Like it's an absence so profound and so great that you don't even know what you're missing, like you don't even understand that it's not there. And I think that's so compelling, because our main character, he ends up being remembered as this corrupt academic. His own son, who we see as like an 8-year-old in the movie, he's now in like his maybe early 50s at the end of the film. And when he's talking to our present day academic, he's like, you know my father more than I ever did. Like I have no memories of him, and you have all of this knowledge that you've gleaned. You know him more than I do. And I think every one of us, again, like at like a national level, at a very personal level, these sorts of things that aren't remembered or aren't recorded are so profoundly impactful in terms of our understanding of ourselves, of our society. And yeah, you can't even, the absence is so massive that you can't even feel it, though. And I think this movie really grapples with something. It grapples with the absence of truth in a way that seems hard. It seems hard to make a movie about not having something. I think the world of this movie. Sorry. And I love that it gets weird at times. This movie is like extremely visceral at like 4 points. Like it's like really gnarly out of nowhere. There's like really visceral like murder. There's like a slapsticky part where like a severed leg comes to life and attacks gay guys. It's like the movie like is willing to get a little unreal with it, a little too real with it, and it like really those touches really elevate the experience. Yeah, I think the world of this movie.
I also thought this was fantastic. I think this to me takes the cake for original soundtrack, at least of the year. Really, really delicate drones, really delicate piano pieces. It's like a synth that you just bought and you didn't do anything to it, and but it works so fucking well. Like there's no. I'm sure there's a lot actually happening behind this, but it sounds so stock, like a lot of the keyboard sounds, but like holy shit, totally in love with it, totally in love with the color. I think the balance of the whimsical, and I'm gonna call it whimsical for lack of a better term, and the brutality is really great. I'm particularly endeared by, the first moment that really that hit me is the introduction, and it only really happens once, where it's like, yeah, that's a cat with two heads.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
In a house full of people with two names. I love that as the moments where they spend together, which they're all together like once in like the common like shared like living room area. And I really, really adore that woman, that moment. They're all kind of talking in various depths. Some of them don't want to talk about anything. Some of them really want to talk about it, why they're there, what's brought them there, where they're going next. I think that this the fact of the technology, the fact of the history being carried on by only photographs, by only the microfiche, by the cassette tape recording, by the reporter, all of these things kind of contributing to an idea of a person, but how can you really understand a person and in that way, and even contact with their own blood, with their own kin, is an imperfect thing, because maybe the kid really only remembered Jaws, his grandfather and and Jaws, maybe the fact that even to him his father was phantasmatic in some way. He was real but not real. There isn't really a firm idea even in this boy, which to the main character is his entire life, right? He's lost his partner, and he only has his child to protect from this very real pressing danger. I think I love the idea of this professor guy being the movie's title is also charming, that idea of the secret agent, but he's just a fucking guy, and the secretiveness, the kind of the dark spots are not willed by him, but just a consequence of time and translation and what's lost in memory. I thought that this was really, and I didn't know anything about it. I only knew its title. I have no familiarity with we talked about this last year with what's the
I'm Still Here.
I'm still here. I only have I don't have any I don't have an ear for Portuguese, let alone Brazilian Portuguese. I profess complete ignorance. But what I do know is that this is a really well crafted and emotionally affecting film that really balances the tricky thing, which is that idea of as soon as that transition happens, where the interview between the reporter and our lead character is being recorded, and it goes right to the present, where they're reviewing the kind of these cassettes in an archive. It was seamless. I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening here. And that's hard. Yeah. That's a really, really difficult thing. The ending is. When I walked out of the film, I was a little uncertain of it, of the ending. But now that time has passed, I've warmed to it in my head. I think it's stupendous. I think it's fucking great. Yeah.
Yeah, the sudden visual introduction of a smartphone at over an hour in would be such a hard sell, conceptually, but it does it completely seamlessly. I think like the presence of the tape recorder in the scene kind of like lends it some sort of like malleability in terms of like who could possibly be listening to it. But it's like it's fucking masterful. I really, really liked this movie. As Craig said, as I'm sure I said last year, I have almost no knowledge of Brazilian history or Brazilian politics. So it was really cool to get this kind of like tour of like the overall political situation. And I feel like there's more kind of going places than I'm Still Here. I feel like that was like a really kind of like tightly contained like story about like a family surviving, and I think like this way you get more like viewpoints, and like he lives with those people, and then he like works at that office, and he goes to the theater, and it's really interesting to see how it all kind of like adds up to like this sort of like pointillist image of Brazil. I also loved the absurdity. Like the opening scene is it's like 10 minutes where he's trying to get gas or something, and like it's just like perpetual weirdness, and it all just keeps kind of amplifying. And then it has like one of my fucking favorite shots of any movie this year, where like the family pulls in, and then like everyone sees the dead body that's on the ground immediately, and all the kids scream. I fucking lost my mind. It was like genuinely the hardest I laughed at any moment in any one of these movies. And then the leg attack, when it attacks all those gay men, is amazing. And I love that like it cuts between this like ridiculous newspaper report of this event that clearly did not happen, with like the people reading it and they're like, no, read more, because they're just so used to living in like a world without like honesty from the newspaper and everything. And like I think like that's really well observed, and like maybe a bit relatable as we further slide down like image generation in the complete death of truth from our like political leaders. And yeah, this is great. I like this a lot.
I think something, I sort of talked about this already. I think one of the ways the movie finds so much richness is I think there's so much nuance in this movie to like the way that truth becomes lost or distorted. Like obviously some of it is malicious and on purpose. Like you get this, like, you know, the of course the smearing of our main character is probably the biggest example, right? Like he's remembered in history as some sort of corrupt figure during this time of political upheaval. But then you get like the banality of just forgetting, like our young boy in this movie, we you know hear the line where he begins to forget his mother who's passed away, and of course by the time he's in his 50s he's lost all memories of his father. You have sort of like the purposeful obfuscation with the you know, never really learning his fellow refugees like real names. You know, that sort of bit of story is lost to you forever, you know, because they had to hide to stay alive. And so like there's so much nuance to the way this sort of like patchwork of like truth and story gets ruptured just by existing. Like some of it is evil, some of it is protective, and some of it is just sort of incidental. And all of that really mixes together to be like, you know, the full story of somebody's life is more gap than fact. And there's so many ways for that to happen. And this movie, it just makes it all so natural, also human. And you know, the way that you can obfuscate political corruption by just lying in the newspaper about how like gay guys are getting kicked by a leg. You know, even to that comical extreme, it's able to sort of remind you of the present day. I think that was just extraordinary to be able to do. This movie reminds you, this is in my Letterboxd review, this movie reminds you that there's so many like rich and powerful guys who should get beat with hammers. Like that's like the line in the movie. And like the guy who's like coming in to like gut the university and, you know, eventually puts a successful hit out on the main character. Our main character is like, yeah, I would kill him with a hammer if I had a hammer. And I'm like, there are so many guys who this should happen to. We need more hammers is what we need.
Fully agree. There's a lot of all the minor characters are really good in this too. Like I think a lot of the people who don't have like huge roles also like just have a lot of personality. Like the hitmen that are like on his tail, or like the father-in-law who runs the movie theater. Just great presence on all of those people.
Yeah. It must have been so awesome. If you were alive in the 70s, let me know. It must have been so awesome to be a hot guy in the 70s. Like it's so crazy. Like that like hitman, like the younger one, it was so hot. His ass was crazy. Sorry, I'm done being serious for a while. Like his ass was crazy in those pants.
It was honestly really distracting how hot the younger hitman was. I was like, oh boy. I don't think I'm getting what I'm supposed to be getting out of this.
Right. But also the main guy was really good looking too. And I'm like, man, it must have been so awesome to be hot in like 1976. Like you're super thin because you're mostly just eating cigarettes. All of the clothes are just like open for some reason. And also it's Brazil, right? Like people, I fear it's just sexier down there. So I don't know. It just to be. I'm surprised more people weren't in the cruising park. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. That leg had no right
to interrupt those nice people. So next on our list here, this is Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier. Okay, so this really quickly, Stellan Skarsgård is like a very famous movie director, and he abandoned his two daughters at a relatively young age. And one of his daughters, I believe the older one, goes on to be a very famous stage actress. So she is performing like Shakespeare, I think, and various other like operas. She's doing Hamlet, but like a postmodern kind of Hamlet, I think. So Skarsgård returns to see his daughters, and he goes to his oldest one, and he's like, hey, I want you to be in my movie, my last movie, and it has to be you. I wrote this part for you. And she turns him down because she hates him. So he casts Elle Fanning instead. And she's like too American to get it. So she's like not getting it. And the two sisters kind of reconcile a little bit. And eventually the eldest sister, the actress, realizes that this part was sort of made for her. And she does accept it. And it's sort of told against this backdrop of this family home in Norway, you know, that the father grew up in, and the father's parents grew up in, and it had been in the family since before the war, through the war, and now to the present day, and it's being sold. The sort of family drama is told against this backdrop of the home. What do we think? The Sentimental Value.
I love the lead. I think she's fantastic. I think she's a fantastic actress. Really tremendous performance. I gotta say, I think my man kind of stole some of the thunder here. To me, the most interesting part of this film is Skarsgård. It's interesting how much more depraved I thought he would have been as a father that we would like learn about,
Sure.
Like that he was abusive or what, all these kind of like stock things that you give a parental character who's like not good in capitals. Like, he's absentee, and he's a super, how do I say this? Like prescriptive, didactic, like artist guy. It's like theater is dead. Theater fucking sucks. Right. Cinema rules. He's a proclamations guy. Like the arc that the character takes from he kind of just remains the guy that he is, but like seeing an artist like in his old age trying to like in his way connect with his children is so fraught with like awkwardness and discomfort, and I think he handles like the portrayal of a character that could otherwise be very two-dimensional, right? Like he's like he's very pathetic
at the same time that he's very driven. And yeah, I mean, there's just there's a lot of scenes that I want to bring up. You know, the one is where he's like, I must have this director of photography. He's been with me for years, and then he sees that this DP is disabled in his old age, and you know, perhaps suffers from alcoholism, and you know, there's an understanding between the men that, like, you know, Skarsgård's gonna pass on calling up his old buddy because his old buddy isn't up to the thing, and there's like this performance of like guilt and shame, like at the same time that he's like very determined to make the movie the way that he wants to make the movie. I don't know, like, all that to say is, you know, the main character in this film is the robust welfare state and a beautiful home, and the fact that everyone lives in comfort, it seems like. Yeah, I mean, but it's a perfect setting for a family drama. And, you know, I think because there's all other concerns kind of fall away, right? There's no like material concerns. There's no like, oh, but the money or whatever. You know, it's basically the biggest thing is like, is this film going to get made or not? Which is not like
like a real problem.
Which is not, yeah, precisely. It's not a real problem. But like, which isn't to say that the film doesn't carry a kind of impact or is therefore duller. I just think that it's just a very tightly contained, very well executed family drama that I think Skarsgård just fucking knocks out of the god dang park. I'm of the understanding that he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor, if I'm not mistaken. And I honestly, I
could see that.
I don't know who his competition is, but honestly, this is a role that really blew me away. I think, you know, I've seen him in so many things, and I've loved him in Lars von Trier films, and I've loved him in other things. I loved him as fucking Baron Harkonnen. I think he did something real special here, and yeah, I overall came away like really, really positive from this film.
Yeah, I liked it. I love Skarsgård's like pervert peepaw. I love that he gets his like 7-year-old grandson like irreversible in the piano teacher.
Oh fuck yeah!
Goated.
It's like it's so funny. Like it's like a if you know you know kind of like visual gag. I mean, those are famous movies, but like, you know, if you know, you know what he gave his son for his birthday. Yeah, I do like it. I think I liked the idea. I think I responded more, and I think this is partially maybe due to my occupation, but I responded more to this. The family drama worked. I thought it was fine. It didn't like hit me like a truck, like I think I might have wanted it to. But what I responded a lot to was this idea that the idea of making art, these sort of methods by which we make art, by which I mean the very simple exchange where you empower an artist to find the collaborators that they need to then create the art, has been completely polluted by, you know, service providers. Like there's this overhanging shadow of Netflix, because Netflix is partnering with Skarsgård to make his final film. And there's more than one scene where like the insidious claws of Netflix are in the process and are sort of, it feels like compromising it from the get-go. And I think partially because, again, of what I do for work, and partially because I was a little cold on the family drama, I'll be honest. Like, it didn't hit me the way I hoped it would. But I did think profound, and you know, Trier's, I'm sure, got experience with this, having to deal with these sort of very narrow, very commodified pipelines in order to make expensive collaborative art like a film. You have to play ball with, you know, the least interesting, least creative, least impressive people on the planet who like lucked their way by virtue of getting an MBA to working at like some sort of entertainment company. And that's what art is now in 2026. at least in like a mainstream capacity. So I found that sort of interesting. I did like Elle Fanning's character a lot. Like, she's just like too damn American to ever like understand anything real. Like, she has like America disease. like everyone's like, yeah, she's like a good actress and she's very sweet, but like she can't comprehend the idea of suicide. Like, it's like not like the idea of like a profound emptiness due to like life circumstances being cruel just like doesn't compute, because America's the land of deeply unearned optimism. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in like I appreciated Trier's sort of like European vision of like the American I guess movie making industry in that way, because it wasn't like castigated. I don't think like they weren't like they didn't presume that she was like airheaded or cruel or stupid. She is just not in this sort of tempo. Like, she doesn't have access to this well of sadness that Skarsgård's daughter does, right? Like, she just doesn't understand it. And so I thought there was like, a little bit of kindness in there, but along with a bit of a scathing criticism. I hate to be evil. I don't know if I liked the ending. And then I'm like, would this have been better? Because the ending plays out in the scene in the movie. They are describing the last scene of the movie where Skarsgård's, very obviously his mother character, sends a child version of him off to school, and then she kills herself. And so they like walk you through this. And then the last scene of the movie is Skarsgård's character's daughter, now finally cast in the film. She's acting out those exact emotions, and you remember them because they walked you through it earlier in the film. And then like instead of when she like had killed herself, it's revealed to be like a movie set. And there's this sort of like, I'm going to say saccharine moment where like father and daughter are like finally connecting. I didn't like that. It was very sweet to me for a movie that was pretty, I think, emotionally balanced earlier on. And then I'm like, would it have been better if she had just like fucking killed herself? And I'm like, I don't know if that. And then I'm like, is that evil? but that doesn't really make emotional sense with like the arc of the character either. So like, that's not, I don't think, a fix. So I don't know. I guess I'm curious to get both of your thoughts on the ending. Like, it was too sweet as it is. The other way would have been much too dark and wouldn't have made sense to me. So like, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll let Jen pop off, and then I'll comment on that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sorry.
It's real quick. I'm mostly going to echo what you guys were saying, because I think you pretty much nailed it. Liked it a lot. SWIMFANS All-Star Stellan Skarsgård crushes it. He's able to play shitty dad and like awesome grandpa at the same time. Like, I love this scene. Well, like, no, I mean, genuinely, like, I mean, he buys them like Irreversible or whatever, which is very cool. But then like he's also like making iPhone movies with his grandson and stuff. He's like teaching him about like force perspective and shit.
Yeah, that's
like
so cute.
It's like genuinely all of the things that like he probably didn't pass down to his kid is he's probably passing down to his grandchild, like he's able to connect with him because there's not like all the baggage there. Much like Craig, I don't know. This was cozy to me, like this family drama in a world seemingly without just the horrors that we see all the time. Like, no one's getting thrown into like a warehouse. Like
Sure.
Like they have problems still, but they're more like existential, and they're not like fascist nightmares. And yeah, the daughters I thought were amazing. I love that scene they have together near the end. Yeah, let's just talk about the ending. I really liked it. I liked the ending a lot. I think it is kind of sweet, but I think there is still this kind of like acknowledgement of them, like they're doing this thing together, and like he gives her like kind of an approving look, and then she gives him like a nice glance back, and then it's like kind of just back to awkwardness. Like they've connected, but like not through all of it, It doesn't read as like completely sweet to me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think saved it for me. Because there's a moment in the film where the otherwise recalcitrant daughter is, imposed, frankly, upon by her sister to read the thing, to at least read a page. And then, once they've read it and they've, whatever, we don't really have access to what it contained that spoke to them in such a way that, made them warm up and made them have this like catharsis, which actually I liked being denied that as an audience member. But the way that the film language happens immediately following is we see Skarsgård. He looks fucking dead on the ground. He's basically he's let Elle Fanning go. They had this nice moment where it's like, he says, don't think of this as a failure, and go on. Of course, and it's great. And then he's like dead, and I'm like, oh, okay. I see. Like, this film is kind of melancholic. I get it. Finally, the film was unrealizable, but like, he did ultimately get them to read it, which was like the more important thing. This gesture that was meant for her. But then it's like, but then the movie continues, right? It picks up with him in the and actually, and I mean this as a positive thing in a certain sense, where it's like, he's in the hospital and then he's like sexually harassing the nurse, and it's like, okay, like the movie, it's interesting. It almost reads like a fake out. It almost reads like a fake out, and it would be an entirely different type of film if the film were not made in the end, the film in the film. But yeah, I think, I think that there's that idea of the script and the film, which again, we don't have meaningful access to outside of the climax of the film, which is the suicide, right? The sending your child off to school, the child returns for a moment, and then the woman hangs herself.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with Josh that the family drama, while the bedrock of the film, didn't move me in a way that I think it's intended to move an audience. But yeah, like I think the movie ends at such a how do I say this? It doesn't end with fireworks. It ends with a kind of like,
sure,
we've shot the scene, it's over, and then then there's that kind of question of like, well, now what? Then because like they've entered into a relationship of director and actress, but then it's like, okay, but then what? And I think that's an interesting question, because I think it, to me it kind of returns the weird dynamic. I think that idea of and the movie's been kind of peppered with it, that idea of when he cast the younger daughter, or the other daughter, as the young Jewish girl who escapes. And I love that shot, incidentally, of the fake film in the film, where these two young children are running from Nazi soldiers, and the girl makes it onto the train, but the boy doesn't, and we're seeing the boy getting like detained framed by the window of the train. It's a really effective way of making a fake movie in a movie.
Because I don't know, like it lets you like leave. You get to like leave all the you get like a sizzle reel kind of
a micro narrative.
Right. Yeah. But you don't have to explain it or follow up at all. You're just like, damn, check out these impactful 4 shots, and you're like, yes, absolutally. Love that.
What if there were 2 guys on the moon and the other one killed one with a rock? Wouldn't that be fucked up or what? Like, it's all right there.
And the movie does a not dissimilar thing with the real, with Skarsgård's actual mother's history, which again is being tortured by the state. It's like it provides this kind of like sizzle, which I could mean that as a knock or something, but like, I think the way that it wraps up is sufficiently awkward, given the fact that like they're like very different people. You know, he basically just fucking kicks down the door and is like, cinema is the true art. Theater's dead, bitch. It's like, okay, that's not polite, but
Dad's home. He doesn't respect your chosen mode of self-expression.
Your entire art form is whack. Hey, what's up? I'm your dad.
I think maybe I'd have to see it again because like I remember being like, I don't know, like, okay, because again, I want to go on the record and say I don't think it would be better if she fucking killed herself, to be clear.
Right.
But like I had gotten enough distance from like the walkthrough that he gives Elle Fanning earlier in the movie that like I'd sort of forgotten about the movie that he's making. So then like it took me, I don't know, maybe a few scenes into this when I'm like, oh wait, fuck, she's doing the thing.
Yeah.
She's doing the thing that, the suicide thing. And then, I was sort of like, holding my breath for that, wanting in a human way for it not to come to pass. And then, when it didn't come to pass, I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe like those sort of micro moments that you're talking about of like father and daughter awkwardness were just sort of like lost on me. And it might be worth a revisit. Maybe I would have a different thought.
Want that house.
Houses, yeah.
Listen.
Want her apartment. That director of photography's house. I want all the houses.
I want an art career and a large living space at the same time, but my country has decided that no, what I do is not valuable enough for that to be a realistic goal of mine.
Fucking hate it.
I also much, man.
I also think that performance of now I can't remember if it's Hamlet or Macbeth was very cunty, where it's just like a tower of like objects. It's this very like stripped down affair where she's just going to do like monologues on stage. I was like, yeah, that eats. I would see that in real life.
Yeah. It's expressionate, right? There's just like a spinning ladder, but it's you're too full of them.
It's like the Ring videotape.
Exactly, but she's like, you're too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way, and you're like, all right, but what's the ladder got to do with it? Why is that chair upside down and spinning? Why is she brushing her hair in that mirror?
I love that whole opening scene of her like not ready to go on stage.
Yeah.
I think it's really amazing how much they kind of fit into this like ticking clock moment and like how long it stretches on for. I think they restart the music at one point.
Yep.
Then she tries to fuck that guy. And that's something that kind of doesn't really go anywhere. That the character that she's kind of like having this fling with just sort of like rejects her halfway through the movie, and then he mostly just disappears after that, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I don't know if that character needed to be there.
Because the thing I especially didn't like, and the fact that it just kind of like just stops after the moment where he rejects her, is the fact that when they're in bed later. And they're in her apartment, like they really lampshade like her issues, and it's almost like comical. She's like, yeah, like I can fuck you, but I can't be emotionally close to you at all, and like the movie just comes out and says it. Like they're joking about it, like it takes the form of a kind of like a funny little like exchange between them. But like it's like I'm a damaged woman, and I'm like, okay, that's not subtle. But
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think it almost earns it because I do think that she has so much nuance in the rest of the movie. Like I do think there's a lot of like emotional nuance here, but there are moments that do feel flatter than the rest, and I agree that that's one of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you can do that. Like they're clearly like kidding. So I think you can say something like, "Oh, I'm fucking broken," actually, and then you can get away with it if there's then like a sort of correlating undercutting of that, where like the character isn't as aware of themselves. But I think because that doesn't matter anymore. It does sort of land a little flatter than other parts.
Yeah, and I suppose the character is quite aware of what she is. You know, like she might be acting like in that like tightly bound, like in the beginning, that like tightly bound Gordian knot of just neuroses. She wants to get out of the dress, and she wants to fuck this guy, but also she needs the guy to hit her. There's like talking about a fucking opening to a film. I was immediately like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I see myself rendered so clearly.
Yeah, I'm like, should I panic right now?
I mean, I remember just like really having a visceral response to it. I was like, clenching. It was awful. Like it's just, I'm like, I don't ever want to go to the theater. I don't want to do a play. This sucks. Is this what it's like every time?
Get on stage, Craig. You're late. You're late for your performance.
Craig, wake up. The show's about to start. Craig, wake up.
Okay, we should move on. Okay, next on the slate, we are talking Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Win, lose, or draw. I just got to say, I mean, this movie's already broken records for being like the most nominated film of all time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I feel like that's almost a cooler prize than winning Best Picture. Like, I don't know. You get a Best Picture every year, but you only one guy gets to be the most nominated film of all time. So, congrats to them for that. So Sinners is about two brothers, Smoke and Stack. They want to create a bar. I think this is maybe just after Reconstruction in the South. So they want to create a bar, a performance space just for Black Americans in the South. They have set up their area, and the bar is in full motion, and then these vampires from Ireland arrive, and they say, if you join us, it's in sort of like a hive mind type way. If you assimilate with us, you can get access to all of our cultural understandings, and we get access to all of yours. So it becomes a sort of like vampire survival picture where they are trying to keep both their lives and their individuality to themselves and survive. And one of I saw this movie when it came out. It's been a minute. One of the brothers makes it out and the other does not. I think that Sinners has a lot of good things about it. I loved the music in this movie. Like there's a music performance scene. It's like right smack in the middle of the movie, and it's when that woman is like singing on stage. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like this idea of like transmitting the way that like Black people who have been put in various institutions of slavery can reconnect with a sense of home, a sense of place throughout history through the power of song, right? So while she's performing, you're seeing people from all different, you're seeing people in the present day performing in different kinds of modes of performance. You're seeing people in ancient times performing in different kinds of modes of performance, and the song is really good. And I think that's sort of when the rubber meets the road for Sinners. And oh my God, dude, the Irish folk music in this movie. My white people epigenetic memory was going crazy when the fiddle came out. Like it's amazing. The Irish folk music was amazing. So for me, I think I do agree that A Secret Agent had great music, but in terms of music, for me, it's Sinners this year. I really loved all of the performance. I was sort of a lot more invested in the movie before it became like a vampire movie.
Yeah.
I thought there was enough sort of fear and enough tension in just trying to make a Black-owned business for Black people in like the Reconstruction South. And I thought that was like interesting and compelling enough on its own. I don't think the vampire stuff like ruined it. I just think it was sort of gilding the lily a little bit, and it didn't. I don't know. I didn't need it, I guess. So like when it went there, it wasn't as interesting to me as simply like the characters bouncing off like the horrors of living in that time and place as a Black American was. So the vampire stuff was a little bit of a step down for me. But Michael B. Jordan, I mean, he played two different guys who were very different, and like I was really impressed with just like the way he held his body. You could tell which brother you were looking at. Smoke and Stack both felt very different to me, even though they were obviously the same actor. I was gay for them for entirely different reasons, which I think is a really great feat to have accomplished. And yeah. So I mean, overall, I'm a pretty big fan of this movie. It didn't like blow my mind the way it did, I think, a lot of other people online, but I think what it does well, it does very, very well.
Yeah, I liked it. It's a pretty good genre movie. But similarly, I feel like I had it hyped up a lot beforehand, and I agree with what you're saying. It does kind of feel like two movies that are pretty evenly split down the center of the runtime. Yeah, I thought I was a little underwhelmed. There's plenty of good things about it. Like Coogler always brings it from like a technical standpoint, and like there's some pretty goddamn virtuosic shots in here. Like love Michael B. It's doing great.
Yeah,
I think I landed in a similar spot as you did.
Yeah, I think I was lucky enough to be completely oblivious to how much everyone loved this while we went to the theater and saw it. And yeah, I mean, my fiance and I, we both kind of came down in this like, yeah, it was a fun little vampire movie, and I have to agree. And much like the movie that I kept thinking of is From Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Yeah.
There's the front half, and it's like character building, and then there's the second half that's just like off the wall, fucking vampire fighting. It happening in a in a Mexican bar, and there's yeah, like so okay, so post learning that everyone loved it and seeing like everyone light up Letterboxd except for me, I was like, I was a little confused, right? And this is the only Oscar movie that I've had the opportunity to attempt to watch more than once, and I've tried to watch it twice, and I get to the vampire part and I stop caring.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me for some reason. There's a lot of like really compelling world building and character building that's happening in that front half, and I get that that's what we need. Like it's in that way structurally similar to From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's like we get to learn about the characters and their motivations and why they're here and so on and so forth, and then they get to like struggle for their lives together. Yeah, that makes sense as a formula. Like just the other half of the formula, I don't. Maybe it's I don't really care about vampire movies, or at least, and I don't even I don't invoke From Dusk Till Dawn as a movie that I'm particularly fond of. It's mostly like why is Quentin Tarantino's ugly fucking head in this piece of shit? Although Selma Hayek is in the film and she's really hot and she turns into a gross, scary vampire. Yeah, the costuming, all the things. I'm not like, I don't know, yeah, when things turn into a vampire thing, I get really confused. And I haven't read any think pieces, and and again, it's been a while since I've actually like fully watched the entire thing, but like I remember feeling really acutely bad for the biracial woman, right? She's like, she does in a certain sense, she's lured into vampiredom by the fact that she's not really welcome in the party, and like that's, I don't know, there's something really yeah, I don't know, I felt weird about that. I felt weird about the Irish folk music as a harbinger of like white supremacist vampireness, even though again I liked it, and like Josh, my epigenetic memory was one of I saw cooked potatoes and barley, floating in my vision.
Yeah.
And like, but yeah, I think the movie just like flattens out into a a genre picture that isn't particularly even vampire-y for me. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say this. Like, so I was like more invested in the movie before it became a vampire picture, but I do like the metaphor of it. So like for me, it's not that the vampires are a vehicle of white supremacy per se. Like, I mean, I guess that's like part and parcel of it, but like it's sort of like the absorption. In this way, I think it's kind of more of a critique of like liberal America than it is like of like the white supremacist underpinnings of America, where it's like you can become absorbed into this like this total whole, right? Where like you may have access to everybody else, but you also lose the access of your people, right? Like your group is now everybody's group, and which is sort of like. In sort of like the cruelest way, that's sort of like the I don't see color type of argument of liberals of like 15 years ago, or something where you know we are undoing racism to such a degree that you can no longer have like an individual identity, and that's what I think the movie's sort of critiquing. So like in that way, I like the function of the vampires. I just was less excited once the vampires started. So like, I mean, the movie, like I can see how it hinges on them. And I like them on paper. I was just like, there was so much like tension and interest. Just in them existing, clearly triumphantly, joyfully, even when at risk before the vampires began. So while I see the function, it was just, I liked the first half more.
No, you're so right. I get the metaphor, right? I get that the vampires have to be invited in. Like, I get what they're doing with that, but it is also like so different from the first half that now I have to worry about like the vampire lore. Like I have to worry about like vampire logic in terms of how they're going to get in. Like the metaphor wasn't lost on me, but like now I'm having to think in terms of vampires. And I think there's just something I kind of like lose when you abstract it out like that. Or I get distracted, or I get sort of like tangled in that when it's like actual literal vampires. Like I completely get the metaphor. I'm not an idiot, but like I don't know how well it worked on me.
Yeah, like I think that's like as soon as literally that main vampire drops into frame, he's partially on fire, drops into frame. He approaches that farmhouse and appeals to. He sees the clan robe conveniently just like sitting on the bed, which of course, like I think in my mind is an absolute stand-in for MAGA hat, right? Like he's appealing to their racism in order to gain safe harbor from being pursued by the indigenous men that are hunting him, and when the vampire inviting in thing gets entangled into the like broader like racial construction of the film, I get like a little confused or something. Like
I get distracted.
I think I get well, here's the thing. I think I get distracted because the vampireness and the rules of vamperdom kind of override it's almost like a circuit jam situation. Where I'm not really sure, that the metaphors gel completely. But again, maybe I am dumb. These are very well established rules that are being bent in a way that, again, I have no aversion to them being bent. I have no allegiance to the vampire genre, and I think these things should be played with in all sorts of ways. But I get a little like hung up on rules and like meaning, and like again like the biracialness of that particular character, because it feels I don't know how to describe it other than it's like, oh, well, there can't be solidarity because she's not like one of us or something. I don't know. But I know the movie's like trying to not do that, but I feel like it's kind of doing it anyway. I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm left with a kind of like a, I've tried to like make a crocheted thing, but like I've somehow shibari bondaged my hands together. Like I don't.
It didn't like close the loop for you.
It didn't close exactly. I feel like I'm left with like really lingering questions, really lingering confusions of I don't care about intent, but messaging here.
The gore was good though. I love to see a movie.
Yeah.
I love to see a movie that's this popular and this successful be also this gory. Oh my god, and this horny too, guys. Pussy eating is so back. Okay, sorry. That was huge.
Clip that.
Sinners has Sinners has
Crochet
reunited.
that into a blanket and attribute it to Josh McKenzie.
It has reignited in the public consciousness how awesome it is to eat out somebody that you love. That's incredible. I was so thrilled that this movie was so horny and so popular. I mean, you of course, we are bludgeoned daily by the takes online, but you can't argue with the sheer numbers here. People love to see two hot people have sex on screen.
Yep.
And Ryan Coogler, thank you, sir.
Yeah. From our pervert family to yours.
Yes.
Wishing you a lovely holiday.
Okay, so last on the list here, the final 2026 Oscar nominee for Best Picture. This is Clint Bentley's Train Dreams. Train Dreams is about a guy, and it is sort of a character study of his life. He begins to work on building the railways that connected the East and West Coasts together, but he spends most of his time in logging. This is around the very end of the 1800s until like up to the First World War. He meets a woman, and they fall in love, and they get a little cabin, and he has a daughter with her. They have a daughter together. And one of the times that he is away, there is a horrible fire, and their home is lost. The woods are deeply scarred, and for a while, he stays in the same place, just waiting for their return. He can't find them. Eventually, he comes to accept that they perished in the fire. So he builds a new cabin on the same spot. And he, at one point, thinks that he sees his daughter, but now she's like a young woman. But she gets away from him. He has sort of this fleeting relationship with like a what's the department? Like Department of Forestry. Like they put like a fire watch officer up there, and he has sort of like a human relationship with her. And then at the end of the film, it's now like the 1950s or something. He experiences like a city, and then he dies in his home. That's Train Dreams. This is my least favorite. Sorry. Like of the 10, this was my least favorite.
Absolute same.
I will say I think the photography was gorgeous, although some of that is just because like forests are gorgeous, I think, and like the
Stealing valor.
I mean, like it's like hard to make a forest look ugly, I think, and like the Pacific Northwest is just fucking beautiful. So like, or like Northern California, wherever they are, I think it's the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. I have to admit that like my guard was up for like the first 40 minutes of this movie because like it felt like deeply reactionary.
Oh my
Yes.
1,000%. Sorry.
Okay, I'm so glad that you both got that. So like, okay, and like I did have to do like a mea culpa about this because the movie's not about that, but like there is something so trad wife fantasy about like
Jesus.
the first like The first 40 minutes of this movie, I was like, and like, I think I could have given it, like, there could have been more grace from me if like every TikTok now wasn't like, here's why you should build like a white supremacist cult in Oklahoma, and, you know, do like spousal abuse, and not educate or vaccinate your children. Like if every TikTok now wasn't that, I think I wouldn't have like knee jerked so hard. But yeah, there is this sort of like homesteader, like trad fantasy that really was like burrowing into my brain for the first like third of this movie. And, you know, again, to the movie's credit, it wasn't about that. It wasn't doing that. And eventually I stopped feeling that when the movie like but it doesn't, the plot doesn't start until like 45 minutes in, to be fair. So like that, in the absence of a story, all I had was like, what is happening politically in this movie? I thought the guy was like okay at acting, but sort of all that he does is like look glumly into the middle distance, which I mean, like, not to be a hypocrite. Like, I think I've loved that in the past. It's just like, it's the same kind and level of glumness throughout the movie. I don't think that this is a character study. There's, I think, pretty solidly a character study, but there isn't enough character to study to make it like compelling or sort of thought-provoking. I think this movie does our main character here a disservice by not making him more of like a guy. Like the movie seems more interested in his grief, which I think is interesting, but then again, I think the grief is kind of like one note the whole way through. It's like one long unbroken string of grief, and I think that there was ample runtime to find sort of peaks and valleys to that. But again, it's sort of just like staring glumly out his window, and then 25 years pass, and he's older now, but he's still sort of staring glumly out the window, and it just feels like there was room to explore that concept a little bit. I did like sort of tying the grief back to like there is a recurring metaphor of like tying grief back to like the forest, but like it wasn't as rich as it could have been, I felt. And lastly, I texted Craig this because Jen hadn't yet seen the movie. I cannot believe this movie is called Train Dreams. There's like 15 minutes generously of trains in the movie. It should be called like Tree Dreams.
I think the trains were a metaphor for America.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough of a presence.
I didn't give a shit about Train Dreams, man. Never cared about this sad, imbecile, stupid life. He's such a nothing character, and it's all based on like, honestly, like projection in like our ideas of like what being alive in the past meant for like this country. And yeah, there are scenes where just people are just sitting around campfires and like fucking William H. Macy's talking about like we're not respecting nature or whatever, and it's like and how it's all just a metaphor for life and America or whatever. It never clicked with me. I never saw past his like 1,000-yard stare, right? I never got any sort of, felt like I got like a real insight into anything about this character other than honestly like reactionary trad fantasies from like what I think you're supposed to feel as the audience. You're supposed to be like, oh, wouldn't it be cute to build your own house with chickens or whatever. Like you're right in that it's not like explicitly reactionary and like calling for like a return to that, but it does sort of like, in my opinion, really, really idolize that kind of like what you would expect a simple life to be without like a reality grounded to it or something. I don't know. I just, this was a complete miss for me. This is absolutely the worst film that was nominated.
Yeah, to just echo, it completely romanticizes every aspect of this like rural life and building a home together, like to the point where they're outside like enjoying the beautiful sunset and there are like no insects. You know,
Yeah,
they're not like
yeah,
they're not like
yeah.
shitting in an outhouse. It's just like all it is like, you know, decorating your house and wearing a gingham dress and nurturing your Aryan offspring. It was
Yeah, it's
really
Stardew Valley. It's a Stardew Valley movie.
truly.
Yeah, so Stardew Valley for Nazis for sure.
You know, like the only one of the only redeeming parts of this film is William H. Macy. I just love William H. Macy, and I love that they just like let that character go. Although, like he does seem like a liberal counterpoint to the film, where he's like, you know, what we're doing is bad. You know, like he can see into the future, into you know, I mean, the movie Forrest Gump's in a way that I find really, really, really like awful. You know, like because like first they're like cutting down trees the good old fashioned way by hand, and then we later see like mechanized destruction and how ruthlessly efficient it is, and then like and then he like sees a building and he goes on an airplane, and then he dies. And like it's like Forrest Gump but abbreviated and really fucking stupid. The attaching it like a GoPro to a tree that's being felled is like a really cool idea.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, this movie wants like the gravitas of the Forrest Gumpness to touch on America's like progress as it happens like around this character, right? We see like the New Deal embodied by this national parks forest ranger character who's, you know, been imbued with this noble scientific task of like, you know, protecting America's pristine wildlife, while like in 2026 it's like let's just drill. We're drilling it where the most actually it turns out where the most endangered species are. That's where the best oil is. And like, you know, even the idea of like a sanctified national park is not enough to defend against like the fucking bloodlust that's like currently on display. And you know, I think it's tone deaf in a lot of really unfortunate ways that again like does lend itself to like more of a freak trad reading than it does to anything else. You know, like it tries to really like you know, put the like to me the moment where it's most paramount is when they're building the fucking railroad tracks. And again, he only does this for like 5-6 minutes of the entire runtime in the film. It should not be called Train Dreams, although he does have train dreams, and
he does dream of trains.
He does dream of trains, but they're not. They're a little too like cliche to be like
the train nightmares.
They're train nightmares. I mean, for him, I guess, but they're not particularly effective for me as an audience. I need a little more to work with for a nightmare. So he has he's working with a Chinese man, and the Chinese man is randomly and abruptly like just abducted by these men, dragged onto like this like the bridge that they made over the ravine, and then dumped. And it's like,
yeah.
So, but the thing with that is the ghost essentially, but I don't think it's a literal ghost. It's like a kind of like haunted by inaction type ghost, haunted by past type ghost. It's like the thing about that really sticks in my fucking craw and gets me a little mad at the movie is like the important thing to learn about that is that racism is bad. Okay. And that two, it's really more important the Joel Edgerton's character's reaction to it. Not that it happened at all, but that it continues to haunt this guy. Like it's more important that it's something that hovers over him rather than a crime that was committed. Right? It's like it's really like confusing. Like I like again he's like this Forrest Gump character that's accruing experience, and like again all these things that are happening are like bad, but they're only they only matter insofar as that they're happening to him, and he gets to be kind of like a you know this you know, this guy that like reacts, and he reacts by doing 1,000-yard stare, to shit, or being like really upset that the Chinese ghost keeps visiting him.
But I would argue he's not even upset enough.
Yeah, right.
Like so like I mean, yeah, you're seeing like this sort of I don't want to say approved, this sort of accepted murder of Chinese immigrants who helped to build the railroads, right? Like this, it's a historical thing that happened. And then, the fact that their lives are less valuable is also a historical fact. And so the movie didn't have to do this, but they put this in the movie. And then, that man dies by like minute 10. And then he shows up like maybe twice as like a ghost for like a second, but that it has no bearing on how he interacts with the world in any way. Like I was so confused by the inclusion of this, which would, frankly, I think it's framed this way in the movie as sort of like a life-altering thing to have witnessed, and then it just doesn't alter his life whatsoever.
Right.
And I don't think the idea of having witnessed these atrocities, which again were sort of optional to be in the movie, in any way affect his outlook on the world, because his outlook on the world is blank.
Right.
Yeah.
His
Exactly.
outlook on
It like, rather than being something that like changes him or haunts him or something, it's that he saw fucked up shit. Right. Like that.
Right.
That like that's the fun. Like how do like you can ask yourself, how does a ghost function? And the way that this ghost functions is by reminding him that he saw fucked up shit. I'm sorry, that's really not sufficient to me.
No, not at all. It's like this metaphor for America thing. It's like you have to acknowledge all the racial violence and then, like, I guess feel bad about it.
Right.
Yes. Like, you're going to do something different in the future. There's no hint that he would have done something else if it happened again.
Yeah.
It's just trauma that he has to live with now. There's no real like landing point for it. I don't know. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, it was a waste. This whole movie is wasted opportunities to me. I think there were like points where this could have been a movie, but like their complete insistence on giving this guy nothing else to do but staring into the middle distance was such a waste of time. Like I don't even think that it was Edgerton, you said?
Yeah.
I don't even think he's bad in this. They just gave him nothing.
Yeah.
He's not even talking for most of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a character study. I almost thought we had something when I thought they actually had good chemistry, in fact. Like the forest ranger and him meeting, and he's like this sort of like stoic woods guy, and she's like a yapper, and I'm like, perfect dynamic.
Right.
I like that.
Yep.
It would be very interesting if this guy who had clearly given up on human contact, began to develop feelings for this other woman who's grieving in her own way, we come to find out. But that's the last time you see her, is when she's like, I also experience grief. And then I'm like, and then what?
Here's a point we can relate on.
25 years.
Okay, goodbye now.
Why? I'm so frustrated.
As a quick aside, I know that it's not Edgar can. Ooh, wow! I just cannot. Joel Edgerton. Wow.
Edgerton.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna let you say it.
Egerton? I don't
because
actually know.
He directs and he supporting character acts in a film with Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall called The Gift, where at once he's playing really creepy and really wounded at the same time and really confused. He's a very good actor. He actually directed that film as well. And like that was the first thing, because I'm like, oh, it's that guy. It's The Gift guy. I like that movie. I've seen that movie like 3 times. I think it's really great. I love Rebecca Hall. I think his performance in it is fantastic. And then I'm just watching this movie and watching this character do fucking nothing. Nothing. Like, and I'm sorry. And I'm all for the Master Chief. Master Chief talks. That's better, actually. Gordon Freeman, the Gordon Freemanness of like a Cypher-esque character that you can kind of like latch into. But I'm like, but who can? Because it's not me, and I'm like, well, who's more apt to like latch onto a character like this? And I'm like, the freak fucking TikTok fucking people.
Yeah,
you know,
for real. Yes.
Like it's like Forrest Gump, but it's like, there's no anti-war shit. It's just like what if your beautiful idyllic trad life was ruined by a fire? you know.
Yeah.
and then like what would like naturally follow is like conspiracy about like who started the fire and why they wanted to ruin your perfect trad life that was happening.
Right.
You know, it's just I think it tries to undo like its form. Like I think it's very much aware of the danger of what it's doing, and it tries to undo that with the William H. Macy character, and like the in a very misguided way with the lynching. And also the relationship with the indigenous man who shows him kindness, which also feels like something born out of like a movie that's also decades and decades old in terms of like, I don't know, like ideas about racial like I don't know. It's just it's very it feels tone deaf to the point of like irresponsibility.
Yeah. I like if you want to deal with like the racial history of America, like there are ways to do it, like The Searchers or something. Like you at the end of the movie, you understand like why John Wayne's not going into the house is because he doesn't belong in civilized society. And like John Ford was like not a progressive filmmaker. Like he was like a deeply reactionary Republican, but like he at least acknowledged that like, yeah, man, this shit was like fucking fucked up. You know, like we had to like start from somewhere. We had to like grow to become people that would like mourn stuff, you know, like in like I feel like it, by like not giving him this personality, by relying entirely on projection, it just sort of comes off as like TikTok aestheticizing to me. It's like the idea that like, oh, his life was hard, but like, you know, he had like heart, you know, like
Right.
His life was just a little bit more pure than ours, and like that I just can't get behind.
Yeah. And it's just not a movie. Like at the end of the day, it's just not a like if you wanted to have this sort of cipher character, I think in that case you either need to have a supporting cast that changes in our characters, or you have to have things happen. Like there has to be events that occur. You can't just have the guy just drift. It's not interesting. And I think that the three of us have a lot of patience for movies that are mostly just looking into the middle distance. But even then, there's got to be like some kind of texture to make you think about something.
Yeah, I love the Tarkovsky films where people just don't say shit.
At least they have zones.
Exactly. They got zones. They got zones in those fucking movies. They got zones. They got mirrors. They got water. It's fucking crazy.
You can't just make an entire movie out of the guy looking at soup.
No. He has to have thoughts about the soup.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry. He's gotta have thoughts about them.
Sorry, I understand the Kushlov effect. This was like 2 hours. If that was not, you know, like 45 seconds long and was actually 2 hours, I bet he'd eat the soup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right.
Fuck
folks.
Train Dreams. It's still better than Belfast, though.
Oh my God!
I'm
Way
just
better.
If you're keeping score, it's still better than Belfast.
And by the way, I hope you are keeping score, because I think my biggest loser of 2 years ago was Elvis,
Oh yeah.
and then I think my biggest loser last year was Maestro last year.
No, Emilia Perez was last year. Maestro was the year before that.
Okay, so yeah. So you've got Belfast, and then you've got Elvis, and then you've got Maestro, Emilia Perez, and now here's Train Dreams.
I feel like there was a movie I liked less than Belfast or than Elvis that year.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Listener, if you remember, let me know.
Googling. That year was that was the year Everything Everywhere All at Once won. Women Talking was that year.
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
disliked Women Talking more than Elvis.
Oh yeah, that movie hurt.
Misogyny is alive and well on SWIMFANS.
Yeah, truly.
I can
Yeah.
say it because I am a woman. If you say I can't say it, you are against women. sorry.
Uno
I'm sorry.
reverse misogyny.
I don't make the rules.
But I do exercise them.
This
to
is
the
girl
fullest.
code. You just wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I think. All right, so let's do our Do you want to do predictions or like favorites first?
Well, I think we can do
favorites
both
first.
at the same time. You can say what
Okay.
your favorite was and what you think is going to win.
This is so tough because my top two are really neck and neck. I think my favorite. This is recency bias. This is okay. I'm saying this, but this is totally recency bias. I think my favorite is Secret Agent, but it's like just beating out one battle after another. But I also just saw it, and it's very like on my mind. So I think my favorite is Secret Agent, but Secret Agent, One Battle After Another, and Marty Supreme, I think were the three top movies for me. I think each of those are really great. What do I think will win? I've never even been close at guessing this correctly. I guess I'm gonna say One Battle After Another because but for the same reason that I thought Killers of the Flower Moon was gonna win, because it's a prestigious filmmaker who made a good one that a lot of people talked about. So yeah, I guess just based on that metric, I'm gonna say One Battle After Another is gonna win.
I'm actually exactly there with Josh. I think sorry, wow. I almost went down a weird path with that one. I thought Secret Agent was definitely my favorite of the pack. One Battle Another, which again I really need to rewatch, is a close second, and I also think Marty Supreme was fantastic. My guess as to what will win is Sinners. I think Sinners is coming home with it. I don't really know what to base that on other than just like a pure vibes-based assessment.
Most nominees.
Yeah. Like it feels like a setting up for another Everywhere All at Once type situation where they might clean house.
I would kind of love that, just because this might have come up on the show, but like Coogler negotiated that insane contract where like the rights to Sinners come back to him after a certain time, and you just really want to stick it to like the increasingly fascist movie studios who are like leaving creators penniless when they need like cancer treatment at the end of their lives. Like I think this isn't movies, but like the He-Man guy I think is experiencing dementia and he's completely broke, and he made He-Man.
God.
It seems like he should be able to like afford basic medical care.
Yeah.
But like the idea that Ryan Coogler was able to get this sort of deal, the trades completely like didn't speak on Sinners because he got this deal. My tinfoil hat is fully activated with that one because he sort of bamboozled them. The trades then didn't report on it, but Sinners still went on to be like easily the biggest movie of the year just by sheer word of mouth. I don't know. I would respect a Sinners win.
Yeah. Obviously, my favorite was F1. Loved it.
And you're so right for that.
Yeah. No, my favorite it's probably a toss up between Marty Supreme and One Battle After Another. I'm gonna give it to One Battle After Another. As for the winner, I kind of had the whimsy taken out of the Oscar predictions over the past year. I found out that the Producers Guild Award correctly predicts the winner of the Best Picture Oscar like 80% of the time.
Oh
Shit.
Yeah, and One Battle After Another won that. So
no shit.
my guess is that will probably win.
Fuck.
I didn't know that until like quite recently, though.
Also, Santa Claus isn't real. The Tooth Fairy is your mom. Reality TV is scripted.
Yeah. Sorry to reveal that information. I guess if you wanted to believe in Oscar magic, but it does get it wrong. It doesn't do it all the time. It's like 80% of the time, which is probably worth putting some money down on. It's a pretty safe bet. You should start gambling.
enter code SWIMFANS on Kalshi and
Yeah.
for sure.
Set your DraftKings bets to one battle after another. Lock it in. This is the SWIMFANS, the Gen bet.
And that reminds me, please, if you're betting on Kalshi, please remember to vote for which one of the three of us will be the first to disappear mysteriously. We really want to get those bets in.
It's me. It's gotta be me.
Yeah,
You have no
it's
idea how
insane.
close I am to doing it myself.
it's Jennifer because I noticed she emptied her bank account on yes.
Insider trading.
I forgot that I gave Craig access to my bank account. Actually, Craig stole all the money, but is saying that it's weird that I'm doing it.
I get there's like a Venmo transaction of like $50,000 to Kalshi, and there's like for some reason there's like an emoji with you on the back of like a milk carton. Like,
Oh my God, we're over 2 hours. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
shit, sorry.
All right. Let me do the abbreviated version. Thank you for listening to another Oscars episode. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. That is Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. Rate, review, all that good stuff. Social media, SwimFans Pod, Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd. You can write in any questions, comments, concerns, recommendations, swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/swimfans. Low as $1 a month. Get access to all the goodies. I am on social media, user Amans, AMONNS, Jennifer.
I'm on Blue Sky, Diatron5.swimfanspod.com. I'm on Letterboxd, Diatron. I'm watching Evangelion, Craig.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and
Burying
Letterboxd.
the lead. Sorry. Burying the lead. You should have said this 2 hours ago.
2 hours. Craig, go.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram, Letterboxd, CraigNeeson.com. I have been playing Pokemon Leaf Green when I said I wasn't going to, and then I did.
You are going to disappear mysteriously. I'm going to do it.
This is the longest episode we've ever recorded. We're ending this like now.